Welcome to episode 319 of Hit the Ropes podcast. We're going to be talking all things NXT, the Royal Rumble, Wrestlemania as the path, the road, as they say, John, to Wrestlemania has begun. We're on it.
Yep.
And I hope you're excited. It should be interesting because apparently there's already a little bit of a foil in the plans for WrestleMania, rather, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But let's kind of start in a order, a system here, and take us through the weekend because there's a lot going on for the landscape of professional wrestling, more so of the WWE. We had NXT Saturday night, the TakeOver show. And overall, what was your big takeaway from NXT TakeOver?
I mean, you can never go wrong without a doubt with NXT. Like, it's not like a WWE card when you're saying, it was something like whatever was on the NXT card is always tremendous. I mean, there was nothing even bad for booking or whatever was set, including with Seth Rollins interfering with Triple H's getting ready for WrestleMania. But of course, the best one without a doubt had to be Bobby Roode winning the title that I knew was coming.
Yes. Bobby Roode. The storyline is it was back and forth battle. Shinsuke Nakamura got injured delivering his finish, which allowed Bobby Roode to get the 1-2-3. And less than a year after sitting in front row for Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, Roode has become champion, and it is now the glorious era of NXT, if I may say. So, big fan of Bobby Roode since his days in TNA. So now he transitioned. He's got to lead a broken brand. I like to think of it because unfortunately, right now, the stars are lacking, both the men, the women. Who's going to step up? So, we've got Roderick Strong from ROH. We know Chris Hero is in the system now.
Yep.
So we've got some up-and-coming talent who could be challenging Bobby Roode shortly. So we'll have to see on that how that plays out. But the Royal Rumble, one of the top 4 cards of the year, every single year. And the reason why we pay our $9.99 come January is for the surprises that are filled with in a Royal Rumble contest. In the Royal Rumble, we usually have something big happen, whether it's the return of Big Daddy Cool Diesel, the debut of AJ Styles. This Rumble, 2017 Rumble, it had none of that. It was the anticipation. They released all but 8 slots. And if you were watching Wrestling with Friends for HTR, if you were joining us on that companion show, we were counting down the spots, the 8 spots, to see who was going to be that big debut or that big surprise. John.
Well, don't forget, we got the perfect 10.
We got the perfect 10 at 10. That was a logical place. A lot of people were calling for that.
Though. That was no surprise.
Yeah, it wasn't really. I mean, we didn't know for sure, but everybody was calling it, right? So,
right.
So that one was not. It was a pleasant surprise, an anticipated surprise, if you could say. So, it was good. You just like Zack Ryder got his final calling at WrestleMania. He finally got to hear his name. He not only got to hear his name this past WrestleMania, he got the IC title at that WrestleMania because he's been so loyal to the company. That was what we had on Sunday night.
Yeah,
Ty Dillinger's been around. He's been let go. He's been back, and they finally you may never make it to the main roster, but we'll give you your moment, number 10. So that was the moment. Outside of that, though, no big surprises.
No.
That was the surprise. They kept us on our toes the entire pay-per-view, waiting for something to happen. I thought it was going to be Shelton Benjamin. I thought it could also have been Prince Puma. Both, set to debut possibly at any point. Nothing, though. Were you surprised that there was no surprise?
I mean, I brought it up many times, like on a lot of shows, and like saying, is it necessary? I mean, like Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Undertaker, all those legends. Those are legends. So is it necessary for a surprise this year? I mean, it's similar to 2002 when they announced everyone when there was no surprises because we know who was coming.
Yeah. But I mean, so there's no big surprise, but
What about the Texan guy? Well, you got to see Mark Henry, but I don't think that was no surprise because he's still a roster guy.
Yeah, he's still a roster guy. So I saw a lot of people complaining online, Twitter and such, because there was no big surprise. But you gotta give. Sometimes we have a big roster with two separate brands, NXT. So there's a lot of people that we spoke about Ty Dillinger after being with the company for so long. There's a lot of people that deserve that spot, and if we start bringing in these guys that are outsiders, we already have two part-timers in Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and taking up two spots. So you start filling up these spots with other people, and maybe somebody doesn't get the opportunity to steal the show. Now, granted, that opportunity was given, and I don't think any of the main roster guys really went out the way and was able to steal the show. The big moments, Goldberg once again destroying Brock Lesnar in less than a minute. And we thought, or at least I thought, we were going to have a Royal Rumble throwdown where Goldberg and Brock Lesnar were trading eliminations, just sending people over left and right.
That was a good thought. I never thought of that.
That's what I thought was going to happen, and then at the end, somebody would probably throw both of them over at the same time. Someone huge like Braun Strowman would do something like that. But they're playing up that Brock Lesnar just can't beat Goldberg.
I mean, the situation, the way I saw it, like with the Rumble, I mean, what I was gonna say, like you say, like it wasn't that impressive this year for a big surprise, but like you said, for a big roster, like it started at 7 when it's supposed to start at 8, and then they went a little overtime. I mean, they're saying, okay, they're gonna start at 7. Do you think they would want to go back one more time with 40 man? So let's say 20 men from Raw, 20 men from SmackDown. And for the first time, we'll have 20 men on NXT join the Rumble.
Like, would that be 60? Good God.
I know, like you remember, I don't know if they would ever want to do it again. Like, I don't want to see it again because I wasn't a big fan of the 40-man Royal Rumble. It's always just got to be a 30-man.
Yeah, that's fine. 30's plenty. But the point is, we got storylines progressed in this one. This one wasn't all about the razzle dazzle surprise. This one was about progressing storylines, and we got that as we were talking about with Goldberg and he being the only guy to really rattle Brock Lesnar, and we also possibly got that with Undertaker and Roman Reigns. Now their decision, John, to bring Roman Reigns came in at 30, right?
Yep.
That was our last spot. Our last spot to get that big surprise that we were waiting on. And
I know, we were all saying, oh, it's got to be Joe. It's got to be Finn Balor. And then what did we see? They're doing this on purpose, once again, for I think a second or fourth year in a row to piss us off, not to get us excited for the final end to like a Cena moment.
Yeah, that was very there was two things about that were of note. The first one is, like you mentioned, they knew once Roman Reigns appeared at 30, he would get booed out of the building.
Right.
They knew that. So that's an odd choice. Except for the fact that it was going to set up, apparently, Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. So when you're taking on Taker, you're automatically not the favorite. So, excuse me. So you're automatically not the favorite. And Roman Reigns, just go ahead and throw the heat on. Just get it over with. It doesn't matter. And the second point that Roman Reigns comes in at 30 is it gave a little bit of a surprise to the ending of the pay-per-view. Because when I saw Roman Reigns and I saw Randy Orton, well, of course, it's a given. Randy Orton's going over the ropes and Roman Reigns is going back to WrestleMania. That's how I saw it.
I mean, like, when was the last time, like I said, is it been since Cena, since 2008, when this came out of nowhere? Like, we saying, oh, well, we know who's winning this year. We've always see a story build up. But there was no story built up for Randy Orton winning. We had no idea. It just came out of the blue, out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. And that's supposed to be the beauty of the Royal Rumble, but it typically doesn't play out that way. You know, you would think every once in a while they would get find that underdog story, because the Royal Rumble is somebody's opportunity to get into the heavyweight title picture who wouldn't normally be there. That's how I would see the Royal Rumble play out. But instead, it's always a favorite in setting up an obvious championship match.
Yo, you were for Jericho, right?
I was for Jericho. The whole night was built around Jericho. He came in early, and within a short time, he became the longest competitor to ever enter into the Royal Rumble.
He beat Mysterio.
He beat Triple H was at top.
Oh, I thought Mysterio holds the record right now.
I believe Mysterio holds the record for a single Rumble. And I don't know if he still does.
You're talking about, I think you're talking about who stayed in the longest by winning.
No. Chris Jericho owns the record now with over 5 hours for the most time in your career.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I got messed up with that. Yep.
So he owns that record. He's in there. Chris Jericho was 2 minutes shy, about a minute 59 seconds shy of Mysterio's record. There's been a couple other people ahead of him with the longest time in a single Rumble. Jericho had a minute and 13 seconds. Mysterio holds the single Royal Rumble record at 1 hour and 2 minutes and 12 seconds back in 2006. But Chris Jericho's time is only the fifth longest in the history. That hour span, Triple H, Bob Backlund, Chris Benoit, and then, as we mentioned, Rey Mysterio are all ahead of him. But the point being that I was getting to is Chris Jericho, he's had that distinction now as the longest Rumble entrant of all time. How many Rumbles has he won, John?
None.
0.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing that has eluded him in his career.
The situation I have about the Rumble these days is this has been over like 10 decades, this long. I mean, think about, there's just one person I think that pops in my head every time. Like, you kind of miss like the old days when the Rumble would start building up a character and then becoming a big star after winning it. I mean, there's only one guy I come into mind every time I say that, and that's Yokozuna. Like, he was using the weak guys that are green at that time, like Virgil and other guys on pay-per-views, and then all of a sudden he got put as a main eventer. I mean, how long has it seen that? Jericho, without a doubt, is a legend. He doesn't need to be built up.
No, it doesn't need the build-up. But I would certainly have liked him cap off his career with the only thing that has eluded him. But we got Randy Orton, we got Roman Reigns, the last two. I didn't know who was going to win it. I thought I knew who was going to win. I thought it was going to be Roman Reigns again, but it was Randy Orton. It's out of the blue. So now we're questioning, hey, does this give us John Cena, who we'll talk about in more detail probably, who won the championship earlier that night? Cena versus Orton again? They can't do that again. Why?
No.
I mean, it's like TNA back in the day, Joe versus AJ Styles. It was like anytime the ratings were low, they were like, oh, let's go ahead and put these two guys in the ring. We know people will tune in. And for me, it got old. John Cena versus Orton for everybody has gotten old. So the other question is, we've got a pay-per-view between now and then, the Elimination Chamber. Do they lock John Cena inside with possibly Bray Wyatt being that other one of the other 5 guys, and Bray Wyatt gets his first singles title?
No, don't forget, Dallas. Again, don't forget. Only Dean Ambrose is the only face in that whole thing. So what if, because I don't believe anyone's going to work together as a team, because they're going to try to go after Cena. Like, no, well, I'm sure he'll be coming out late inside the chambers. I would like to see him started off actually, because that's the way I like to do it when the first one started. As usual, the champion would have to be first to see if you can get through all the guys. But if they do this, I mean, like everyone's predicting of the rumors and everything, Bray Wyatt.
Man, I'd be happy.
But the only problem is Bray Wyatt is not a main event guy to headline WrestleMania this early, because he's been brought down ever since the rivalry with Cena a few years ago.
Yeah. But the thing about Bray is, because his character is so good, he's never far away. So he can easily be thrust back into that mix. And that was Shane. We were talking. Bray Wyatt, he's not in the main event. So how could you put him in a main event to where he could possibly take this title from Cena? But the depth of SmackDown is so shallow at heavyweight. So anybody, Baron Corbin makes sense, who's in the match. Dean Ambrose makes sense. He's the U.S. champ. The Miz, former champion, makes sense. AJ Styles, of course, just lost the belt. All these guys are relevant, and it makes sense for them to be in this bout. So I'm excited for it. If Bray doesn't win, it'll be a huge disappointment, because again, John Cena versus Randy Orton would be horrible.
I mean, in this situation, by this, like, no one's ever won their first title in the Elimination Chamber, so this may be the second time, because we're not going to put the one that only happened one time with Bobby Lashley, because that was not even a WWE one, that was an ECW one when he beat Big Show. I mean, this could be the time. It's title change for the second time. But when it's
title change, it has to happen, and they've been on a youth movement or a new faces movement. John Cena, how long is he really going to be able to do this? The Undertaker, there was reports that, who knows if it's true or not, I believe it because I've seen him wrestle in person over the last 5 years, that he could barely walk backstage. This guy.
Didn't they hear that we had to have a couple little rides back because of how long the entrance was after they got eliminated?
Yeah. But Undertaker, it's time for him to ride out. They need to let that man go. If they want to go ahead and put Roman Reigns as the guy that gives them the send-off and call it a career, cool, by me. But let's go ahead and get him out the door. Let's get this new blood in, which is Bray Wyatt, who's been around for a while, but could be the face, not of fear, but face of the WWE, at least the SmackDown brand from here to come. Now we spoke about Roman Reigns and getting booed. There was some eye contact with him and Taker, so that leads us all to believe those two will be locking horns come the Rumble. but there was a little bit of a wrench come WrestleMania rather, but there was a wrench thrown into WrestleMania's plan. Already, we're on the we just got on this road to WrestleMania, John.
Yeah,
and it is apparent that Seth freaking Rollins is injured again. This dude, he stays either injuring somebody or injuring himself. He can't stay healthy.
this is just like an Ahmed Johnson character, again and again and again, out of nowhere for a big victory, and then all of a sudden the storyline gets broken for another injury.
He stays injured. He can't help but be injured. So, I mean, we had this awesome debut by Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
we were all waiting for
and
it.
I think it's kind of better, which I think it was better before. If we even saw him in the Rumble, I think it was better on Raw.
Oh, much better, much better. And that's the thing. If we don't get it at the Rumble, just like if we don't get it at WrestleMania, these debuts, they happen the night after, and they waited to the very last moment to unleash Samoa Joe, and they did it in a big way. They made a statement, and we know the matches between Joe and Seth Rollins were going to be great as they built up to Triple H finally stepping in after Seth Rollins goes through Samoa Joe. But that's not going to happen anymore. Possibly. We don't know the extent of the damage yet. But apparently Seth Rollins has hurt his knee in that exchange with Samoa Joe. If there's already been talks that Samoa Joe will somehow be the guy to take on Triple H should Seth Rollins should he not be able to compete at WrestleMania. That transition would happen to happen. It has to happen quick. I don't know if they can make it fast enough.
I don't know where they're going to go with this.
What do you think? I mean, how do
they
make
I have no idea what they have set for Samoa Joe. Like we were saying for Cena, possibly. Like Brock's already set for another one with Goldberg. I mean,
right?
Like before the Royal Rumble started, I already heard about it that he was set for Fastlane to face Kevin Owens for the title. So this is going to be set. I'll get into that later. But the situation with Joe, like I don't know what's set for him. Like who's possibly a perfect opponent for him? They're going to want to do. Well, he's not on the brand though. But if they wanted to do another TNA moment again with AJ and Joe, but I don't remember what that was called. Do you remember what that was called when they had like Michaels versus Kurt Angle and TakeOver versus Orton? Remember it was SmackDown versus Raw?
No.
WrestleMania. I forgot they only did that 2 times.
Yeah. That if Cena drops the strap to Wyatt, who the heck is he going to face? Who is John Cena going to face? It would be weird. You've got Samoa Joe as the
Braun Strowman maybe,
but he's on Raw, so I don't want them to mix the brands.
no, I'm talking about Joe.
Oh, Joe versus Strowman.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I kind of want to see if man, that's a hard one for me to call because Strowman, if he's not squashing, I need him to continue to build to where he gets maybe the pay-per-view after, maybe even the night after, smashing Kevin Owens and winning the world title. I'd be okay with that. Some people would say it's too early, and it probably is, but
well, all I have in mind for Braun Strowman is just like I'm not seeing Joe being the one because he just arrived. Because like if there's anything, I'm sure it's just gonna be the Andre Moore Battle Royal that they're gonna have for Braun Strowman. If he's gonna, like you said, if he's gonna squash a lot of guys. What was that?
That would be a good fit for him to put him in that Battle Royal and let him crush that and make him look real strong without having to mess him up. So I'm okay with that. On the SmackDown side of things, if Cena drops his belt, I would love, 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 love to see Nakamura come up to SmackDown and challenge him. I think that would be a heck of a bout.
I mean, the situation with Nakamura, the only problem is you got to think about this. This was just right on WrestleMania week last year. I mean, this is going to be way too early for him. Do you think he's going to be even ready, even though he's been around for a long time? He's a legend, and think he will be this early to bring him onto the roster when it's just been
Yeah,
like a year in NXT?
yeah, I definitely think so. I don't. I get there's Chris Jericho on his podcast always talks about the WWE style, wrestling the WWE style, but John Cena steps up in a major way when there's a big bout.
Yeah.
And Nakamura at WrestleMania would be a huge, huge bout.
You bet
I,
your life. I swear it's going to be like a huger one than Sami Zayn's match that he had with them when he
yeah,
first debuted.
and Sami Zayn versus Nakamura, one of the best matches I've ever seen.
What?
One of my favorite matches by far. So I don't know if Cena and Nakamura will get to that, but the charisma between the two would be amazing. So that's what I hope happens, because if you look at the SmackDown roster, with the exception of Joe somehow getting pushed over there, as some people say, if they put Joe would be a second to Nakamura for me. But outside of that, who the heck does Cena wrestle at WrestleMania? I don't see any other contender over there.
I know, like we were saying, the story was broken once again. I mean the build up of what we thought was gonna happen with it's finally gonna happen. Like, you know where I'm going. He got eliminated, so he's not facing him. And then he's in going for hip surgery, so we know it's not gonna be Taker for a Dream again. So what's gonna be left for Cena? I mean, all I'm saying is, like, are they gonna want to do a triple threat if they still do Randy Orton? Like, if okay, AJ's gonna be put in the mix now.
Yeah, man. You know, that's another guy, AJ Styles. What the heck do you do with that guy? Come WrestleMania. I mean, there's so many questions. We're what, 2 months away, so they have time to develop and get that going. But I'm ready for it. I think this will be a very good WrestleMania. Probably it could be one of the best in the last couple of years. The only really throwaway match you got is probably Big Show and
For sure.
Shaq. Big Show and Shaq. That'll
Yeah.
probably be one that you'll be like, yeah, um, it's kind of a waste, but that's okay. We're in Orlando, Shaq's hometown, his new hometown, so that's okay. But
I mean, the way I know that they're gonna, like, I'm always saying every year, like, what's gonna be the perfect one? That they've been failing several years. Like, you know, it was totally failed last year with Triple H and Roman Reigns. Like, what are they gonna want to do to close it out? Like, maybe I think Shawn Michaels Taker was the best last one, or maybe it was the triple threat with Daniel Bryan winning the title. But I think if they're wanting to do this, like we're hearing all the reports, that may possibly happen for the third match. If they do Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, you think they're gonna want to do this instead? If he does win the title at Fastlane against Owens,
wait, if who wins the title at Fastlane?
Goldberg.
You think Goldberg's gonna win the title at Fastlane?
Yeah, that's the way. That's where I think it's going, because there's no way Kevin Owens is ready for the main event spot. Because I'm always thinking about the main event spot, like who's possibly ready and who's possibly going to put on a tremendous main event show to end the show up.
I don't see that. That's not happening. Not happening. We're gonna have Chris Jericho versus Owens at WrestleMania. That's gonna be a spectacular match. I think it'll be a very, very good match. And we've got 2 titles. You don't have to put that one on last.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, by the way, I don't think we even heard Michael Cole, by the way. Didn't even bring it up. Like, who's he going to go after? Is he going to go after Orton, or is he going to go after Cena, or is he going to go after Kevin Owens? Like, they're not doing that anymore, I think, since the brand came back, did they?
Nope, I haven't heard that. And they should at least tease it. They should at least tease it, and they still might. We've got time for that to happen. Probably come Raw, I guess. Or well, I didn't see SmackDown, so I don't know. Did you catch SmackDown? Did you see if
I missed kind of the 5 minutes or so. Like, it started off with John Cena, and then all of a sudden Luke Harper came in as his bodyguard, and all of a sudden they're starting with the Wyatt family right now. The Wyatts with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Luke
That's
is out
interesting.
of the picture, like we saw coming at the Rumble once that happened.
That's a very interesting dynamic. And the whole Wyatt family, they so dropped the ball with the Wyatt family. Like, they dropped it, picked it up, and dropped it a couple more times. Like, that storyline was, or that family definitely could have been something that transcended to movies. Like, it had that, it had that True Blood feel to it, and they just don't know what to do with it to keep it. They threw Randy Orton in. None of us know why Randy Orton was a part of the Wyatt family. We have no freaking
mesmerized person, only.
Yeah, this hothead who has the Viper and the lone, a lone wolf, to steal a phrase, is all of a sudden mesmerized by Bray Wyatt, and I don't buy it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
And who was we saying for several years that's never even appeared ever since hearing the name?
Who's that?
Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail, yes. Is that
and who's the team again? That's Eric Young's with. Who's the group again? I forgot.
Sinister.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki Cross would be tremendous. Nikki Cross would be tremendous if she was the one. I know Crazy Mary was kind of a rumor before, but I think Nikki Cross would have been the good pick the way she's going right now.
I like that, but I think it's hard at this time if you've already exposed her to NXT. I know not everybody watches NXT.
Yeah.
But to then repackage her, it'll take some of the charm away from her. It's got to be someone, if you're going to bring somebody from who's it, Crazy Mary?
Yeah.
From the indie scene, you got to pluck that person straight from the indie scene. Or they could go in NXT and they could tour, but not go on the live shows. That I'd be okay with. But you can't have her branded as something in NXT and then have her debut in this case as the long-awaited Sister Abigail. So
yeah, I agree with you with that.
You lose that. So they need to find somebody else who's got that crazy persona and the world of independent wrestling that we haven't been exposed to.
Well, right after WrestleMania, I think it's going to be over, as we know, probably, if they're going to go at it.
It'll be interesting. They've really killed this gimmick to some extent. You mentioned Sanity. Sanity hasn't really caught off, just because I like Eric Young. I think he's talented, but I don't think he'll ever be a main guy.
No.
But I love that whole concept and that gimmick. They seem crazy, and there's nothing they won't go through and do. So that's that's something that maybe someone else. I hate this, say this is Eric Young's thing, but if someone else comes in and leads that group, they could take it to big things. Or if they go ahead and bring that whole group under under Bray Wyatt, and then you're gonna say this is not Nikki Cross. This is actually Sister Abigail.
I like that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
That little transition. So, as we go back with NXT, I want to stick on them for a second. The tag team match between the Authors of Pain and DIY, amazing. Very, very good match.
I wasn't catching up on it for a little bit, but then as it went on towards like maybe the past 10 minutes or so, it was totally amazing. Like, I definitely saw the title coming to a change.
Yes. Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep.
He sells as good as anybody in the business.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of events I've been going to. He is tremendous.
Amazing on the indie scene. We interviewed him a long time ago. I butchered his name over and over again. And but I really bought into them. I think them and Authors of Pain could really build up that tag team division, where a lot of people are praising good Lord, I can't, because I think they're so vanilla. I cannot remember the tag team. Ole Anderson and what the heck's the tag team that just lost to DIY? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
They're so vanilla. I cannot freaking. But everybody loves them.
NXT.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Yes.
Oh, now
Lord.
Now I remember. Yeah, he's one of the fathers of Izzy, isn't it?
Who?
Of Izzy, one of the fans, Bailey's fan.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of those guys. I forget what the group was. It's been so long since they've been champion, but I know who you're talking about.
Wait.
I remember.
Wait a minute. So you're saying now I need to freaking remember their names. Why can't I because they're so vanilla. I cannot remember the doggone names. All right, I need to Google this. This is ridiculous.
I got that too.
All right. I'm Googling it now. I'm Googling. Come on, Google. Help me out here.
Come on, Mr. Wikipedia. You're the expert at this.
Revival.
There you go.
Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. You're saying one of them is Izzy's dad?
Yeah. Yep. That's his dad.
Are you sure? I mean, she's always there.
Seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. One of the trailers on the videos I'm seeing on live chat. Have you seen some of the live chats? No, maybe may have missed that.
Nah, I don't see any of the live. Let's see. I'm picking this up right now. Says her father's name is Cody. Who is Cody?
Am I wrong? I thought I heard that it was.
Yeah. Some guy named Cody. Goodness.
Oh God, I screwed up again.
You just all these people going off and following you up. Some guy, Cody Starbuck.
Cody Starbuck.
Yeah, I'm looking at him on Twitter. He's Cody_Starbuck from Tampa, Florida, and so yeah, definitely not an NXT superstar.
There you go. You're right. It isn't.
Holy cow, John.
I screwed up again. Mr. Wikipedia wins.
Wow. Oh, Lord. Man, I don't even remember my comments on the vanilla Dash and Dawson. You just throw me all off with this Izzy fact that is not a fact. Goodness gracious. God.
I mean, yeah, I mean, where have they even been? They've not been getting a push ever since. That's what I hate. They're losing the belts and everything. Like, ever since then, I've not even seen them on many shows getting a title opportunity once more time.
Well, that's because we're in a the WWE's in a bad spot in the fact that they split these two brands up. In addition to that, they have this third brand. And when folks get solid enough, when they've gotten their skills enough, the logical progression is for them to go to Raw or SmackDown. But even with two separate brands, they don't have enough room to push these guys up.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you see the card? If I'm not mistaken, aren't there a couple of teams in the SmackDown card for the Elimination Chamber coming up? I saw that. So that's packed already with tag team division.
Yeah. They did that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, Raw is probably the only place right now.
And they could definitely go there because you have the New Day, you have the tag champions, the Boring Club. I mean, the Bullet Club. I mean, the club. Right now, and then you have the mixed tag, which is the awkward chemistry between Cesaro and Sheamus, and that's really it. So I'm not a believers in the champions.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that, by the way. Like, we didn't even get on. We weren't even live when we did it because I didn't think it was necessary after waiting all this time for them win the tag team titles, and they put this right on the pre-show.
It deserved to be on the pre-show. I mean, I'm sorry, not a fan of the club in the WWE's version. They were good when they show how much they need a leader. They show how much they need Finn Balor to return and reunite the club. Now that they have gold, if you throw Finn Balor into the mix, then all of a sudden they look like a formidable team and someone worth watching to some degree.
Yeah. But
by themselves, not so much. I'm not really interested in the club. The thing is, you still have to be careful putting the Revival up there because while I think they are more technically sound than the Ascension, I think if you thrust them up to without a real solid game plan, they're going to get the same result as the Ascension and be quickly lost in the shuffle. So that's the plan. We keep talking about what is the buildup for, what's really the purpose of NXT? NXT or, the next generation, as they say, as it started. We need the evolution of that brand because obviously it doesn't get the exposure not being in front of, the USA audience as SmackDown and Raw. But if you want, you can't push these guys up fast enough. So they have to stick around NXT. But if NXT is still seen as a developmental brand, these guys really don't. They're not going to be able to mature as entertainers.
I mean, because no, go on.
Well, they just we're thinking them as B-level products is what we're doing. Unless they are able to elevate that brand, despite it not getting as much eyes, and sacrifice some people to take it to the next level. Otherwise, you're going to have people stuck in limbo.
Right. I mean, looking at Raw, I mean, that place has enough right now for a month. But I think NXT is really going down with a bunch of guys that's been going on, like, really down. Like, ever since, like, Joe left. And now I think Nakamura is going to be getting up at the WrestleMania probably.
Right.
And then after that, who do we see next for Bobby Roode to go to try to reach that level to get an opportunity for a title shot? That's where I don't know where they're going to go with that. I mean, I don't know when the tournament is for the women's division. Do you know what that is? I forget when that is.
I don't know. I'm guessing the summer, though.
Yeah, maybe, probably. I mean, got Kimberly, like, the Caribbean Playboy missed once again, and then to see her last show, and then we got Andrea, that's part of Shine Wrestling, and Heidi Lovelace. I just saw it get put on pre-taped, and I think there was one more. I forgot. No, Crazy Mary. Yep. I mean, all these women are losing theirs too. I mean, Asuka maybe possibly leaving after losing the title because, like I'm saying over and over and over again, all right, we beat Paige's record because we're not liking the way she's going with Del Rio right now, so we're gonna beat her record. Okay, so now she broke the record. Now Asuka can drop it to Ember Moon because the guys see that coming at WrestleMania week.
You think Ember Moon's gonna? I think Asuka. We mentioned this. I think we were talking about this during the Rumble about
Yeah, I remember you said that.
champions need to hold on to the belt as they go on to the because it becomes so predictable.
Yeah,
I think she's the one that would. I think she should go for 2 titles at once. I think she should be the NXT champion. I think she should go over to. I don't think you mess with. I think SmackDown's a little unstable, although they need new opponents for Charlotte. Unless you have her beat Charlotte on Raw, because you looks like you're trying to preserve that pay-per-view streak. But either brand, I think Asuka goes up, she battles, and she wins, and she holds both, and that way you could solidify her as this dominant champion, holding all the belts, and then she could tease that she's coming to face Charlotte and take that belt too.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where they're gonna be going with her because SmackDown's kind of packed right now with enough since Mickey came on.
Yeah.
I mean, Raw's been going down. There's nothing been going on because Sasha's not in the title picture. They're not gonna get another shot for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, if they do this, if they lose one person from SmackDown, like I kind of thought, if we're wanting to think of a WrestleMania match, Becky's gonna try to leave, and maybe Asuka wants to take her place. And then all of a sudden, we have 4 horsemen go at it for WrestleMania. But that's all I have in mind if they do bring her to a SmackDown. But Raw's the only place that definitely needs that. Like, maybe she will be the one to defeat Nia Jax because she's beaten her before in NXT.
Right. And that definitely could be the case. And you talk about SmackDown being packed. Well, apparently, after WrestleMania, they're going to be one less. Apparently, Nikki Bella is riding off to the sunset. So, which is fine by me. I never really bought into that whole Nikki Bella movement. She was right place, right time, in a place where we were absent of Lita's and your Trish Stratus, and we didn't have the arrival quite yet of Charlotte and Paige and all those superstars. So she was a transitional leader for that entire division.
No, she was just more of a ballet, not mostly as 100% great wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, she's not great on the mic, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, there's not a lot of ladies. That may seem sexist, but I think it's the truth. There aren't a lot of ladies who, for whatever reason, I don't know why, have been able to wow you on the mic.
Yeah.
AJ Lee did okay, but she was spoon-fed. Anytime somebody drops quote-unquote pipe bombs, I discount that as a great promo because
what about Becky Lynch, actually?
Becky Lynch, on the mic, I don't know. It's
similar to like a Warriors almost.
Yeah.
Getting mixed up a little bit.
Yeah. But so there's the point being, Nikki's gone. That frees up a space, but I don't think that she could just leave NXT because the women's division is so frail right now. You've got Ember Moon, as you spoke of. Definitely looks like she's the next challenger. I was impressed with Peyton Royce.
Yep.
Yeah, but that But that's
Well,
because
she's kind of new. She's kind of new. Like she didn't like she recently got started. Like she did a couple of shows on the indies, like Shimmer and stuff, before she got started to get onto the roster.
long
I mean,
ways to go. Long
yeah,
ways to go.
long way.
I was just impressed because I have them so low, and they rose to the occasion. They being in that fatal 4-way matchup. So NXT is very frail. From the women's division is the tag team division is probably the strongest division right now, and even with that, we've had a recent title change. So it's not like we have a whole lot of stability, but I see a lot of stability with the AOP being undefeated, and they're trying to bring something that the Ascension was supposed to be: dominant tag team.
And you said you weren't. I may be wrong, but did you say you weren't a fan of Naomi's?
She's okay.
Yeah, I
She's
mean, I don't
okay.
know. He looks
They
like
missed
she's
the
gonna
boat
get
with
the
her.
next. Looks like they're gonna get her to a little push, but it's not gonna be towards WrestleMania, of course.
Yeah,
But she's still underrated very much. But
very much underrated. She should have gotten her chance, at least a shot to run with the title about a year ago.
yeah, and I can't believe Alexa Bliss, because ever since leaving NXT, I thought it was way too early. I mean, it took maybe a few months, but then out of nowhere, she's totally improved. I mean, her mic skills. I mean, forgot about her with the mic skills. I think it's been kind of good with her. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, big fan of Alexa Bliss. When she was in NXT, she kind of caught my eye. I thought she would definitely be a player in the women's division. Did not think that it would happen overnight, as it has appeared to have done. But yes, she's definitely something they need. I'm not a fan of Becky Lynch.
Oh, how could you?
I don't see it. I get she's very popular. I think I follow her on Twitter.
Yeah,
So I see all the fans that are dressing up, putting the goggles on, and doing her thing. So she has built her brand. No one can take that away from her. She has got a brand. She has got
yeah.
a persona. She has built it. She has a following. But it could be the fact that I've been oversaturated with the four horsewomen. I'm a little over it. That's a one thing that's refreshing about Alexa Bliss is
Yep.
she came up during that time, but she wasn't part of any of that. So, but man, I think it's great. We got Mickey James in there to kind of help these ladies
Still need a new
progress.
ring gear though.
They need what?
A new ring gear for her.
Yeah, she's wearing stuff that she was wearing in her first run with the WWE.
Yep.
But it's kind of look at her compared when she left. When she was left, they were calling her Miss Piggy and
Yep.
how fat she was. She slimmed down to me almost too much. Her face is kind of bony, but whatever. That's not for me to say. But they love her now, so it's so hilarious what time away from the company will do. And we talk about building the WrestleMania. This scares me along the lines of the Undertaker. Whereas if you're not fit to compete, I want you to just hang it up. But we talk about John Cena needing someone.
Yeah.
We talk about Triple H needing someone.
Yep.
Possibly Samoa Joe could need somebody. One guy comes to mind, and I don't know if he has anything left in him, but Kurt Angle.
Why did I forget about him?
Kurt Angle going into the Hall of Fame in Orlando. I would imagine he has one last match. I would have liked to see it against Brock Lesnar.
Yep. I mean, you only had two legends that only did a match after the Hall of Fame. Like you had Well, it wasn't scheduled right away for Hogan when he had Shawn Michaels do the announcement, but only one time was Ric Flair, like when he had the last match. If he did do this, I'll have one more match scheduled, and this will be a tremendous build-up, and maybe this could be a main event spot. Maybe if he could have one more match for a Hall of Famer to be put in the main event against who?
Who would you book him in? He had his matches with Joe, probably some of the best in TNA history.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we said
Well, he
John
brought
Cena.
up if he wanted to have one more match when he was talking to Lily on the AfterBuzz. He said it was wanting to be with AJ if he wanted to have one more match. Like I would definitely want to see that.
Okay, yeah, AJ is another guy who might not have a dance partner. So if he wants it with AJ Styles, sign me up. I'm all for that.
Well, it's too old for this guy because I'm gonna go with this one. Like, who did he have his, I think, most memorable rivalry with during his time when he was a face in
Kurt
WWE
Angle?
time? Yep.
Stone Cold?
No, not that one. It was a little 2 years after.
I don't even know.
Brock Lesnar.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, that would be ideal, but we know that's not going to happen because he's locked up with Goldberg.
Of course.
That's the money match there. So maybe if he could go a little bit, we can get Goldberg. Angle versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. If we can get 2 matches out of Angle, AJ Styles, and then that it gets a little dicey because you're jumping brands and put them on against Brock Lesnar, but we can work out a trade or something for Kurt Angle or something, whatever.
I wouldn't want to start off like with someone on a low card like a Russian versus a USA like Kurt Angle, like some people were thinking.
Against Rusev?
Yep.
Man, Rusev was hot, and then going up against Cena, and then now you're mixing him up.
It was down. Where is he now?
Yeah, he's tagging with Jinder Mahal, and like, sorry, ain't nobody trying to see all that. So, but that's the road. We were all over the place tonight, but I think that's okay. The road to WrestleMania is starting. The Royal Rumble was interesting. I know a lot of people complained because we didn't get the big surprises, because Randy Orton won the match, and they have to do a lot of transitions from here to kind of shape things. So the WWE, the path to WrestleMania is not so clear. We got a lot to work out, a lot to worry about, but it should be interesting. I hope we see the return of Shelton Benjamin, Kurt Angle, debut of Prince Puma. So much to look forward to, John.
Fastlane's at the end, isn't it? At the end of the month, or is it in March? Forgot the date.
For what? Fastlane?
Yeah.
Fastlane is March 5th. March 5th.
Yeah, there we go.
So we have some time. Elimination Chamber is like a week or 2 away, something like that. 2 weeks away. So everything's coming up pretty fast. So they need to jump on it. So we'll see how it all plays out. Until then, we'll be here next Wednesday. Any parting words or shout out to your social media?
Nope, just enjoyed being back with Dallas Brown once again on the show, and hopefully back again someday, maybe next week if it works out. And it was great to be back on Hit the Ropes Radio, as I always enjoyed back in the days with Mr. Wikipedia.
All right. You can follow us at Hit the Ropes on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, and follow us at hittheropesradio.com, where we post articles, news, events, interviews, all that great stuff. Until then, we will see you live next Wednesday, 9 p.m. on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in.